Well, Michael, it didn't have the feel of a 3-0 game, but ultimately that's how it's panned out, and your side seems to have been punished for a lack of ruthlessness in both boxes.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. It's sort of the fundamentals we have to be week in, week out, clinical in both boxes, both defending and attacking. Best way to sum it up, we're just miles off it today. I think from recent performances, the levels we set ourselves, we just didn't replicate them again today.
Why do you think you couldn't quite reach those levels? Because when you play sides like Worcester and Anstey and the teams in the playoffs, you know you've got to raise your game. And with every respect to Shepshed, I'm sure you would have targeted this game as an opportunity to get 3 points in what looks like a very tricky month.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think when you go into Anstey away and you've got Worcester here, you automatically pick your levels up. And I think for the players, they just need to learn that when it's a game of two teams that equally placed in the table, that you've got to do that as well, and can't be us on the sides trying to drive it, got to drive it within. And yeah, look, ultimately we're just a couple of yards off every challenge, and like I said, it was our Achilles heel today because it wasn't a 3-0 game, but ended up being 3-0.
You were forced into 4 changes today, one of which, of course, Sam Tester being out with his injury that he picked up last week. Were those changes with this game in mind or with an eye on Corby on Monday?
It's difficult. We've quick turnaround, but for us, we're going to be very light on Monday, so it's getting players in and trying to save legs for others. But it's difficult, isn't it? It's, like I said, it's a quick turnaround. It's a 1-day recovery tomorrow, and then you're straight back at it. So for us, look, we have to focus on what's in front of us, and we kind of didn't do that today. We were off the pace. We lacked a bit of a spark, and yeah, look, it's a disappointing day at the office.
It's another game where we seem to be bemoaning a lack of quality in the final third. How do you go about fixing that and connecting up the dots again?
It's difficult, isn't it? Because, like I said, you need the levels to be there first. I think we played at times, we did okay. Just like I said, that final ball was just a bit too much power in it on the pitch where it will run away and it will bobble out of play. And said, I think that's got to come from them. They've got to realise that take a bit off that final pass and help my mate out when I pass him the ball. Don't hit with power where it's going to bobble up and be at knees and thigh height for the ex-player. So, look, it's still a learning curve. It's something we've got to improve on. But today was the first time we've created very little in front of goal, which is probably disappointing. We've not made the keeper work too much, but we'll give it after recent performances. We'll allow them to have the off day today.
The pitch is probably in the best state it's been for a while, and that allowed both teams to get the ball down and try and play football on the deck in that first half. But you just seem to concede at the worst possible time, right on the stroke of half time, and then that's changed the complexion for the rest of the game.
Yeah, spot on. Just conceding that goal just before half time, it's given. Look, both teams weren't great in the first half. It was very even, stalemate, very lack of quality, but it just gave them something to lift them and give them something to hold on to, and then we're trying to huff and puff and we're committing players forward and we get caught again. Another cheap goal, the second and the third exactly the same. So, yeah, look, it's a disappointing day because we've conceded 3 goals that we haven't conceded recently, which is disappointing. So we'll come around, we just couldn't find that direction, that attitude to pick ourselves up and we'll put a good performance today.
I'm sure you give credit to Shepshed for the opener in particular. Great ball through the defence and good strength and a great finish from Tristan Dunkley, but the other 2 goals did seem very avoidable.
Yeah, and even the first goals before both centre-halves of ours have had an opportunity to put the ball down the line and we've hit the first man and it ended up with a big gaping hole down the middle of our back 4. So, look, as much as it was a good finish and a good opportunity to get himself in there, it stems from us just being a bit complacent on the ball maybe, but it's the one we'll watch back. A bit like I said, it's a quick turnaround. We'll watch back tomorrow and we'll pick the bones out of it, but ultimately it just comes back to a poor day.
And looking ahead to Monday, I suppose the main positive from this one is that you've got a very quick turnaround and an opportunity to respond away at Corby. It's obviously a big game for local bragging rights. They're going to try and secure that second place finish, so there's a lot on the line.
Yeah, and I have no doubt that the boys will, like I said, they'll pick themselves up and they'll be motivated for that one. Like I said, it's another team in the playoffs, which we've done well today. And look, we have to go there with a positive attitude and a willingness to work hard, defend right in our box, and ultimately be clinical when we get chances. So, be a good game. I know it'd be a nice lunchtime kick-off and be a good attendance from both fans. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it. We've got to draw the line under today's performance, pick ourselves up and get ready for it on Monday.
And our last visit to Steel Park was quite the occasion in the FA Cup. You were leading that game for so long before that late equaliser. But my point being, it was a really good performance that day. What can you take from that particular game and bring into this one?
I think you take from that game is that we matched them, more than matched them, give them a good game, and we've got to take credit from recent performances as well. Worcester and Anstey, that are good teams in this league, have turned over many teams, and we've gone there and done 2 good results. So we'll take them energy levels, that commitment, that desire to, like I said, put your body in line in one end and put the ball in at the other. But look, we're looking forward to it. Like, it's a game where there's no pressure on us. We just go and enjoy the moment, enjoy the game, and hopefully do it right.
And how do you manage such a quick turnaround? Because we've seen previously the likes of Guardiola and Klopp moaning about fixture congestion in the Premier League, but I'd like to see them try and deal with a game with such a quick turnaround, no less than 48 hours.
Yeah, look, it doesn't make sense. That most teams play Friday, Monday. I don't know why we've done Saturday, Monday, but look, that's not for me to decide. For the guy, look, it's difficult. Both teams have got it's a level playing field. Corby played today, and for us, like I said, it's just for me, look, the guys have got to go home, enjoy Easter Sunday with their kids and their families, and Monday will come when it comes. I think both teams will struggle with the teams, but look, we'll just give it everything we've got for as long as we've got, and then we'll make changes when we need to.
And just lastly, a word on Dan Porter, because it was announced that he'll be leaving the club at the end of the season. And although his time here has been quite short, he's had a huge impact on what's been a very good season for your team.
Yeah, Port's come in, started the season and hit the ground running really. Brought a charisma in to the group that people thrived off, which was brilliant. And he's gone strength to strength. And yeah, disappointing to be losing him. A great character to have in and around the group. So yeah, look, we wish him all the best on whatever his next adventure is. And I said the same as Jazz last week, he's a friend for life. We'll welcome them back when they come. And yeah, look, it's disappointing, but we have to move forward and we have to recruit properly and replace him as best as we can.
Yes, us here at AFCRDTV wish everyone a happy Passover and happy Easter. But sadly, the result, not the one we wanted for this Saturday afternoon at Hayden Road. It finishes AFC Rushden Diamonds 0, Shepshed Dynamo 3. The man of the match, Fraser Corden. Fraser, maybe a dubious honor to be our man of the match today, because we've got to discuss the game. It just was not a good day at the office.
No, yeah, I think a game that lacked any sort of real quality. I think 3-0 was quite generous, let's say. They obviously took their chances well. They're just a bit better in the boxes than us, but I think general play-wise, there weren't too many chances created, and they just finished theirs well.
The first half, really, I thought was pretty much a stalemate. Diamonds, he played rather well at times. Looked bright in the first half of play. Then it all went wrong in the 45th minute. A rough time to give up a goal just before halftime.
Yeah, always difficult. Obviously makes going into the second half a bit more of a challenge. And probably from a coach's and manager point of view, changes what they were going to say. But yeah, the worst time to concede really just before half time. Yeah.
And in the second half, things just didn't seem to gel or go Diamond's way.
Yeah, it was, as always, it's a tough pitch to play on. I think it looked like a game, obviously towards this end of the season, it looked like a game where we didn't have a lot to play for, let's say. And I think, rightly or wrongly, we maybe have a bit more of an eye ahead on Monday, obviously the big game against Corby. And so, no disrespect to Shepshed or anything, but I think that sort of caught our focus a bit more, let's say. So yeah, overall pretty poor performance.
Well, thankfully we don't have a relegation to be worried about, but we don't have playoff ambitions either, so maybe a game like this was to be expected. Both teams are sort of mid-table. Were you missing my countryman, Sam Tesler? Sam is out with a bit of a knee injury at the moment.
Yes, yeah, I think he got injured in the Anstey game, and then obviously wasn't available for this. So yeah, maybe missed him at the back a little bit today. But yeah,
you were mostly going with the 4-4-2 formation today. That's always my preferred shape, but kind of the traditional 4-4-2. Does that suit you well? Do you like it?
Yeah, I think. Obviously, we've played this formation quite a bit now this season, and obviously it's given us sort of more recently a win against Worcester and a decent performance against Anstey. So yeah, formation wise, I think it suits us to a T. Just performance wise, we weren't so good today.
So it's a quick turnaround. The team, you want to have training on Sunday, obviously, especially not on Easter Sunday. And actually, it's less than 48 hours because it's an early kickoff on Monday, Easter Bank Holiday Monday at 1 p.m. That is a big challenge to go up against Corby Town. They had a shocking meltdown today. I don't know if you heard, they were leading 3-1 and lost 4-3 to Worcester City. So early thoughts on Corby Town.
Obviously I just seen the result as we come back in the changing room. I think obviously we've played them 3 times this season already. I think we've done quite well against them. Obviously going to their place will be a bit more of a challenge, but I think everyone's looking forward to it. A good bank holiday game. Hopefully it'll be a good attendance and a big crowd, and hopefully we can sort of continue the performances we had against the other teams sort of in that playoff position.